coming afterwards.
That's it, go!
Talking to me, it's all fine.
Go, go, go! Car inside. Clear. Inside. Clear inside. Slow car down low. Car inside. Clear inside. Outside. Low car up high. Go low. Go low. Clear high. Car stopped up high. Slow car down low. Slow car ahead. Car stopped ahead. Go high.
What are you doing driving wrong way on the track? You are. Red car. If you try to wreck me, man, I'm gonna be mad.
Car outside. Car stopped down low. Clear outside if you want it. Go high. Car stopped ahead. Go
Oh,
low.
dying here, an idiot.
Outside.
Well, time to qualify. he's like, I forgot your cigarettes. You're not taking to the store. So I have my ice cream tire.
And you forgot milk.
You know, you go in the store, you gotta take your card out of the basket. And if there's 14 people inside the store, if there's no cards in the basket, you gotta wait. Wait outside. They're doing it. And then we take your card, and then take this 30 o'clock, you talk to him, and he's like, sir, you gotta get a card, sir. And he's like, David, I said, I got one, it's in here. I said, I ain't touching that. This paper. More than I have to.
Going the wrong way.
you want.
Okay, cookies, she said.
Line up on the
Yeah,
inside. Pit road is closed right now.
Last out.
One to go, next time right. Get ready, going green. The pace car is off, be ready. Green flag, green flag. Inside. Still inside. Inside, clear inside. Inside, clear. Car stop down low. Inside. Slow car down low. Clear inside. Slow car down low. Inside. Keep high. Clear. Car inside. Clear. Slow car down low. Car stopped up high. Car inside. Slow car ahead. Clear inside. Car stopped ahead. Go high. Car inside. Clear inside.
king size mattress. So, I don't understand what's. So a king size mattress won't fit in your bed?
King size mattress. Well, you know, king size mattress.
I just said that it's a king size mattress. You say it's a California king. Your bed was a California king.
Well, it was. It's a mattress and everything. No, good play.
Doggish5150, welcome to the stream. What's up, man? Okay. This is just practicing. Okay. We'll just practice, I guess, in this car.
Going with the yellow line.
Mic check.
Gotcha.
10-4.
Car outside. Clear outside. Outside. You've got some damage. Let's get that.
Oh man, you cream up. I think he's dead.
Ow.
Outside. Outside, clear.
Heading out.
Oh my god.
Go right.
What are you doing, 27? Damn!
I'm trying to get out of your way.
You just hold your line and we'll get around you.
I see.
Don't cut me off. It freaks me out.
Outside.
I seen you coming up. I was trying to get out of the way.
It just freaked me out. Sorry.
You're fine.
What did you say, Jacob?
I don't even know.
You came down on me if you were complaining about that.
I don't even know what happened. I lost control of it.
It's all good, man.
Still not used to this car that much.
Outside. Keep low. Clear outside if you want it.
And this is why I was driving NASCAR in real life.
You've got some damage. Let's get that fixed.
Be a little easier on the exits.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know who I wrecked out, but sorry about that.
You're fine, man. We all gotta learn somewhere.
Yeah.
disqualified for reckless driving.
I'm not gonna practice for another 45 minutes.
It happens pretty regularly, and sometimes it can be to your advantage, sometimes it's definitely not to your advantage.
Well, some separation in this one, as you can see. Kligerman trying to close the gap on Brooks. This fight for second, one of the more entertaining ones on track, but as well behind kind of a trio. Scott Speed has been able to get back in front of Kevin Hansen. Breen still with them, so this is a trio for fourth position on back.
And he's only going to climb behind Scott Speed, so throw that possibility out the window.
It's just not the greatest. The Joker laps there for Breen as he was really tight on the curbs and really slow as He kind of got it jacked up on the inside there. I think he almost hit the trussing for the RX sign down on the bottom, and it is really a zero net gain now as we watch this battle for second. If Klickerman and Brooks, again, all these drivers in this feature race, going to be walking away with a lot of points. That's big for somebody like Klickerman, who missed out on that in the first week. But it is a heavy point spread towards the front of the field. 40 for the winner, 30 for second, 25 for third. So that's why I think Speed's going to do everything he can to close the gap here with a lap and a half left. He's close.
How about that? Over the jump of Parker Kligerman. Oh, not over the jump, over the bollard.
He made it a
That's
jump.
Oh, goodness me. That's what I was talking about, James.
Yeah, and you see them, that just means that they are right on the limit. They're trying to get every single inch on the inside of that apex of that corner. And sometimes, honestly, hitting the inside of that corner can help rotate the car. So you'll see some of them are actually using those.
The battle for second, third, and fourth going to carry on behind this man. The battle for second, third, and fourth going to carry on behind.
Racing. Andres Baccarat at the end of the day had a joker up his sleeve, used it on the final lap, but went nowhere. Only ended up in 9th as well after, I believe, no, he didn't receive a penalty, so excuse me on that. But brilliant for De Jong. We see the burnouts as usual. There's no stopping this guy, Evan. And in my opinion, no disrespect to Sammy Matty Trogan, because he's an awesome driver and he's very talented in himself. But had De Jong not had to miss 2 rounds of the World Championship last year, he could have been a double iRacing world champion in Rallycross.
And Sammy Matty, of course, made this feature last week. Of course, De Jong would go on to get the race win, but he has done just about everything that he can. And honestly, James, can't say we're shocked. 2 back-to-back pole position awards, wins both of his heat races both weeks, wins both the features in handily, as the margin of victory, 10.4 seconds.
Anyone familiar with Mitchell or any of his racing out by either iRacing, virtual or real, should not be surprised by this whatsoever. He is consistent. He is very disciplined, and he does not make mistakes. He minimizes every single mistake he makes. So you'll see Christian Brooks coming in second here. He's very similar to that. But, I mean, you can see the gap there. I mean, 10 seconds to first place is nothing to scoff at.
And he is going to be standing by with us in victory lane in just a few moments. We'll step aside one final time. We'll wrangle up our pro drivers, and we'll chat with them next. It is Mitchell De Jong, race winner of the St. Christopher's Truckers Relief Fund IRX Sunshine State Showdown. We'll talk with him next.
I don't even know if I'm able to be doing this right now. We'll find out soon after this.
I am James Rogers, owner and CEO of Spartan Direct LLC, and I am proud to partner with St. Christopher's Truckers Fund. Many truck drivers today are faced with unexpected injury or illness and have to come off the road, and the fact is, if our wheels aren't turning, we aren't earning. There's not a lot of support for drivers in these situations, and that's why SCF is so very important and vital. SCF steps in and provides a short-term safety net for drivers out of work because of injury or illness, and they step in and pay necessity household expenses, including rent, mortgage, utility bills, vehicle payments, and insurance payments. Knowing SCF is here for my drivers and myself is a stress relief in very stressful times, and I would like to encourage you all to support SCF's mission by making a donation at truckersfund.org. Have a good day. Stand against all odds.
And welcome back live to the virtual Daytona International Speedway, where the iRacing Sports Network coverage of the Subaru iRacing Rallycross All-Star Invitational presented by Yokohama continued tonight with round number 2 of this 6-week All-Star Championship with tonight's IRX Sunshine State Showdown. As we welcome you back in to our coverage, Evan Pasoka, Jonathan Saban, James Rimmer with you, and let's talk with your top finishers for round number 2 of the championship. And for the second week in a row, Johnny, it is Mitchell DeYoung in victory lane.
And Mitchell, yet again, another victory. But most importantly, you know, we always talk about the wins and how good they feel. I want to know what you think about having this new iRacing rule where you can take the Joker on the first lap, just like the real world.
I'll be honest, hearing about it yesterday, I was actually really excited for it. Without a doubt, I think it's really helped the racing a lot. Just being able to kind of split up the field like that right from the beginning. I don't think it really hurt strategy. As far as my point of view, I think it almost helps because you give everyone a better chance of making through the first corner without any drama. So I think that's a great rule. Hats off to the guys that put that in place. It was definitely cool, different dynamic for sure. But yeah, glad everything worked out, you know, able to take the Joker right off the start, have a bit of a lead, and just try not to make any mistakes.
And you've won the Yokohama Pole Position Award twice now. So is that 2 custom skateboards you're going to get from Bear Walker himself?
Shoot, I guess it will be. That's awesome. No, I'm excited for it. Looks cool already from, you know, what I've kind of seen. And yeah, that's a cool thing because it's something that you don't often get in a lot of championships that we race in too. So that's definitely a cool thing that, you know, we have in this series. So yeah, that's awesome.
And compared to the real world, do personalities sort of come out on the wash on the sim too? So are there certain guys you're racing against going, oh, I remember when he, you know, landed on top of me back in the lights days? Is that stuff you're thinking about at personalities out there?
I'll be honest, for me, absolutely. You know, racers have a long-lasting memory. I think everyone kind of says that. So yeah, for sure. We all remember our history, whether we raced back in 2014 with each other or more in recent times. So it's a cool thing, you know, racing it on the virtual track, different dynamic, but at the same time, we're, you know, still just as competitive and going for the same thing to win. So it's pretty cool.
And hey, having Red Bull involved, of course, too, for yourself personally, and having Coanda Sim Sports really helped you go a long way in the sim racing world. And, you know, to your success today and to your success last week, you head to Sonoma next week, and I'm thinking, oh, that's been one of your best tracks as well in the well, actually, no, excuse me, sorry, I should say the opposite. It hasn't been one of your best tracks as well, but I feel like you could prove that wrong in the Rallycross universe. Yeah,
you're definitely right. It is not one of my favorite, I'll be honest. Never quite figured out the dirt section. You know, I kind of have an idea of what I need to do, but it's very hard to nail it in the actual race, in the actual qualifying. So, you know, hopefully we'll be able to do it this time. You know, we had a good start to the kind of season already, so we'll do our best. We got a lot of things kind of starting up with Porsche as well, and you know, got to prepare for everything, and yeah, we'll do our best to manage.
Well, the talent that Mitchell de Jong has here, preparing for multiple world championships on the simulator. But there's another man who's ever talented in the rallycross universe, and he's alongside James Rimmer, and that's second place, Christian Brooks.
How's it going, guys?
Hey, Christian, how's it going?
Oh, all good, man. Just still pretty wired off that race, but somehow we managed to hold those guys off. So I think it was a good race for me, starting in fourth and coming in P2. I'm pretty happy about it, and Mitchell is just unbelievably quick. So I'm gonna have to spend a few more weeks, maybe years on the sim before I can match his pace. But yeah, we're gonna keep practicing, and hopefully we can give him a run at the next race.
Well, you're not the only person thinking that. I think everyone's sort of in the back of their mind thinking, how does Mitchell exactly do that? But you took a year off from rallycross last year and took some time to go in some open wheel cars, do some F4, do a little bit of everything. How do you think that's impacted, how you drive rallycross? I mean, it must feel good to be back on a rallycross track. I know obviously, all of us used to race together, and it must be nice seeing some familiar names out there, even though you may be banging doors like usual.
Yeah, for sure. So obviously, I mean, rallycross is one of the most fun forms of motorsport out there. So it's cool to be able to get on and race with the guys that I used to compete in championships with, and names like Martel and Picoy. I mean, I race them every year through my rallycross experience, all 3 years. So it's cool to get out there and then get out there with guys like Reed and Pastrana and guys that just huge names that actually can wheel on the simulator. So it's cool. I know everybody is just getting into it. So it's cool to see who hops on and gets it right away. Some people it takes a bit longer, but yeah, I think it's really fun, the transition, and being able to come back to rallycross and still be competitive is pretty cool. And I mean, I'd like to. This game is kind of like racing in the real world. I mean, you never want to get beat by anybody. So when you're 4 or 5 tenths off, you're taking it to heart, and you're trying to find every quarter tenth you can find around the track. So that's what I really love about rallycross is one mistake can be so huge compared to open wheel. But I've really liked racing in rallycross, and hopefully I can do it in the real world again one day.
Do you feel like making that transition over to some of the open wheel stuff? Obviously, you and Connor battled for a championship back in 2018 in ARX2. But do you feel like making that transition over to open wheel, obviously you have the karting experience as well, did that help you with some of your rallycross skills? Obviously very different sports, but some of the same inputs.
I'd actually reverse your question. So for me, I feel like the rallycross has actually helped the open wheel a lot. Just strictly car control. In open wheel, obviously, when the car snaps, most of the time you're going around or you're going to have a big save, or big moment, they like to call it, basically on the edge of your seat. So in rallycross, you can control that a lot easier. And coming from that, and just, I wouldn't say easier, but you have to control it to be quick. So coming from rallycross and going to the open wheel stuff right out of the gate, I mean, we had a podium in my first race in F4, which I was shocked by. Coming into open wheel, I thought it'd probably take us a season. That's why we went F4 and then to USF to get some experience under our belt first. And yeah, I mean, the rallycross, really everything I hop into now, I feel like I can adapt well, considering you have standing launches like drag racing, sometimes half ovals, dirt, and road courses. So it kind of gives you all the elements and a lot to think about when you're on track.
Well, thanks, Christian. It was great talking to you. And if anyone's interested and wants to see some crazy overtaking, go on YouTube and look up Christian's Coda race from last year in F4, and you will see some incredible racecraft. Thanks, Christian.
Awesome. Thank you, James.
And we'll continue things down along our podium with the driver of the number 77 machine, Parker Kligerman. And Parker, you just held off Scott Speed for a podium in a rallycross race at Daytona. How you feeling?
Pumped up. So when we beat him in the heat, I started screaming and I let him know over the driver chat that I just beat him, because that's like beating, the rallycross god, basically. So I was really pumped up. That was cool, and hold him off there in the heat race. I was shaking. I was a little bit more in tune in this main race, but I was in the zone. I felt like when I was catching Christian and Scott was behind me, I was tuning him out, and I was just driving and trying to get by Christian. couldn't get it done, but really cool to get a top 3. I'm in this rallycross stuff. I'm new to it, but I'm having a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. You've driven a lot of things, not just on iRacing, in the real world, and of course, you get to try some unique cars as well on proving grounds and whatnot. But, I mean, what is this rallycross car like, and how has the learning process been over the last couple of weeks into the opener last Friday, and of course,
maybe racing in rallycross a couple years ago, and it didn't quite come together, but I really wanted it to happen, and I thought, it's just something that's always piqued my interest. I love the cars. I think they're incredible machines. They've got so much power, and they're just these pent-up, crazy little things that, you're just doing crazy stuff with. So I love it. When this came about and Chris Leone was reaching out to me about doing this, I was all in. I was like, absolutely, because I want the excuse to have to drive these more, and this has been a great excuse to do that. So I just really enjoy it. I think it's some really fun racing. My only thing would be I wish the races were a little longer. I know that coming from NASCAR, we have a bit longer races, and these seem to fly by, and sometimes I'm just getting in the groove 5 or 6 laps in, and the race is over. And so I'm like, man, we need more laps. But I know in the real life, these cars can't last that long maybe, so we're going to stick to the shorter stuff. And it's fun. It's cool to do it. And if you get, in a tussle or whatever, it can be pretty crazy how the races sort of change all in a second.
We see drivers, from the NASCAR disciplines, as you mentioned, IndyCar, NHRA, of course, the rally guys and the sim guys. But, to be able to come out here and compete, I know that you're having a ton of fun. Now that you've got a P3 under the belt and you get some points, are you kind of starting to allow yourself to build expectations as we head to Sonoma next week that, this 77 is a car that needs to be in the feature race every week and probably has the speed to do so, maybe?
Well, it's a clear-cut way for someone of my experience level to make sure that I'll be head first in the barrier at the next track, probably lap 1 of the heat race. But I'd say, I've been pretty confident coming into this. I did a lot of practice going into the Hell race the first week, and I just had computer issues that sort of messed me up. And I think I was actually faster there than I was this week. But this week I came in, I told Ryan Truex before, I was like, I am determined to make this feature. So it was going to come hell or high water. But you mentioned it. There's so many cool drivers in this series. It's one of the most diverse driver groups, I think, in any of these series that we have going on right now. And, racing with Alexander Rossi and Connor Daly and Ron Capps and Justin Lofton and all the rallycross guys like Scott Speed and Mitchell. It's a really cool group. And I hope fans are kind of tuned into this and seeing, all these drivers kind of stepping out of their comfort zone and doing something different. And we're seeing that throughout the sim racing world, which is really cool. But this has just been a lot of fun, and I want to go win one. So hopefully we can find ourselves increasing in pace, and maybe Mitchell will have to start the back one time or get like 1,000 pounds of success ballast, and we'll actually have a chance. But I look forward to that time.
Well, your next opportunity to fight for the win going to be next Friday as we head out even further west on North America as we go to Sonoma. But Parker, congrats on the top 3 here tonight, and we'll catch you next time. Thanks, guys. Enjoying it. Thanks to everyone for putting on the series. Looking forward to Friday. Your third-place finisher tonight from Daytona International Speedway, and a big thanks to Parker, Christian, and Mitchell, your top 3 finishers in today's St. Christopher's Truckers Relief Fund IRX Sunshine State Showdown, for giving us some time post-race and talking with them. And just wanted to hit on that point one more time that the charity partner for today's race, the St. Christopher Truckers Development and Relief Fund, is a truck driver charity that helps over-the-road and regional semi-truck drivers and their families when an illness or injury causes them to be out of work. If you go to truckersfund.org/Yokohama, you can donate, help make a difference, and you as well receive a rebate code for your next purchase of a set of Yokohama tires. And as round number 2 falls into our rear view mirror, first, James, wanted to thank you for joining us up into the booth. I know the plan was to be down onto the virtual racetrack, but we certainly appreciated your insight up top with us, and hopefully things go all well, and we'll see you on track next Friday.
Well, thanks for having me, guys. I'll see you next Friday one way or another, I'm sure of it.
And of course, as this season and this 6-week championship continues to roll on, Johnny, we see Mitchell DeYoung, unsurprisingly, come out ahead as the very clear favorite, but of course, keeping all these drivers on their toes, a very different racetrack, and a track that sounds like it'll be a challenge for the 24 VW as we head out to the fantasy track at Sonoma Raceway for round 3.
and it was a track voted favorite along with the Atlanta long layout, which will take place for round 5 of the Subaru iRacing Rallycross All-Star Invitational presented by Yokohama. So Sonoma is a thrilling circuit. It's got some fast sweeping corners. The Joker is quite challenging as you try and brake to take the
I figured I'd watch a little bit of that. So.
Cat's doing that shit.
There's the checkered flag. You're going the wrong way. Quick, let's drive.
Hello, you have a copy?
Don't join again. Hey, it's 60 laps or 35 minutes, whatever comes first. Hey, thanks for the info. You're such a great admin.
Yellow's on.
Green, green, green.
Waited to do that for no fucking reason. It's bullshit. This is why it shouldn't take that fucking long. If I don't get to race in this one, I'm done. Oh, fuck. I know this track pretty good. This is my last race, though. Give me something to eat probably afterwards, and then go to bed probably. 7:45, I'm getting tired. This is starting to piss me off.
clear. Car right. Stay on the left. Clear on the
Get a quack on him.
green, green, green. Got a penalty, we're cutting the course. Okay, here comes your first time lap. You got a penalty, cutting the course. The checkered flag.
Oh, see my drift. Howdy. Guess I'm not.
quicker. Green, green, green. Good to go. Next time up. You got a slow car on the right. Slow car ahead. Right side. Go right. Keep to the left. Clear. Car right. Clear on the right. Car on your left. Keep to the right. Right side. Still there. Clear on the right. Car right. Clear on the right.
Oh my.
Pick up the course. You've got to slow down and give up that time.
That's what I hate about these type of races. Everybody's run Reiki. Because they don't care. It's too small of a track. So they're just gonna wreck it.